I want to go to Hal Lambert right now. He has been following the presidential contest. He was a former Don guy going to a Ron guy. I'm referring, of course, to Donald Trump, the former president, who he's given money to and a great admirer of in the past. I think he's still a great admirer of the president now. But he is setting his sights on Ron DeSantis, thinks he's a better bet. Always good having you, Hal. Thank you for joining us. Where does, and I do want to get into your financial backing and following the governor, who had a bumpy launch, but it was certainly a money-making launch, better than $8.2 million raised. But he's not been very clear on these debt negotiations. Do you know whether he shares President Trump's views that you go ahead and risk default if you have to, if you don't get spending, concessions out of Democrats? Where does he stand on that?
Well, I don't think he's made a comment on it because, he doesn't really have any say in it. I think if you look at what's going on, it just kind of shows the dysfunction in Washington. And there's quite a bit. And the American people are very upset with Washington, both Republicans and Democrats. So it's really an issue for D.C. and highlights what we've got to change as a country.
You did, and we talked before about this. You went from Donald Trump to Ron DeSantis. I know I've kind of asked this more out of brilliant interest, but what was the former president's reaction? He lost you. That's a big loss.
Well, I don't think he was happy about it. He made a public comment from a spokesperson about me that was pretty negative. But, I can't worry about that. I just looked at this and said, look, what candidate can win the general election in the fall of next year? And I think there's only one candidate that can do that, and that's Governor Ron DeSantis. I don't think President Trump can win it. And there's only one candidate that can win the primary and the general, and I think that's Governor DeSantis. So there's only one candidate, in my view, that can do this. I think Donald Trump could certainly win the primary, but he just can't win the general. And we have to win this next election. We cannot risk having another 4 years of Biden. It would be a disaster.
Hal, obviously, the former president has not made a secret of the fact that he's not a fan of Ron DeSantis, calls him Ron DeSanctimonious, and I don't know what names he's called you, but maybe he's not a fan of either of you. But this doesn't just, go to Donald Trump. Virtually all the candidates in the race or looking to get into the race have targeted the Florida governor. I want you to react to this. This is from the past week. Take a look. We're against what he did with Disney, and you would not do that yourself.
Oh, absolutely not. Look, I don't like the wokeism. We need to stand up and fight wokeism and cancel culture, but you don't penalize private businesses because they disagree with you politically.
I don't think Ron DeSantis is a conservative based on his actions towards Disney. I'll tell you this much. That's not the guy I want sitting across from President Xi and negotiating our next agreement with China, or sitting across from Putin and trying to resolve what's happening in Ukraine.
Mr. Trump said, "You're fired." I love that part.
Make America great again.
Make America great again.
All right, that's a smattering of just where the governor was in the past versus where he is now. But obviously, they're gunning for your guy. Are you worried?
No, I mean, they're gunning for him because they know he's the biggest threat. And it's interesting to see people say, oh, he's not conservative. He's probably the most conservative candidate in this race. In fact, there's, some concern that he's too conservative. So now you've got people saying he's not conservative, some people saying he's too conservative. He's over the target. He's actually passing legislation, getting things done in Florida, while everybody else is simply sitting around talking about things.
So right now there's a push on the part of Republican Party operatives to say that no matter who gets the Republican nomination, all should support that winner. Is Ron DeSantis in the camp that if it is Donald Trump, that he will support Donald Trump?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to support the Republican nominee. That's going to happen because any Republican nominee is better than Biden. So that's where we've got a starting point at, and we're all there.
All right, because Donald Trump has not extended that to him or the others.
I think Donald Trump had said he would support the nominee because you can't be in the debates if you don't do that.
He has not said that.
Well, that's unfortunate because that's not the way we should operate as a party.
All right, still early. Things could change. People could get, warm and fuzzy, but sometimes you have to wait for warm and fuzzy. Hal, thank you very, very much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.